Trapped in room 305. They say volunteering is a noble act, a way to give back to your community, but as I walked the sterile halls of the local hospital, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was watching me. It wasn't until my supervisor assigned me to room 305 that I realized just how thin the veil between the living and the dead could be. The air felt different there, thick and cold, and the usual hum of hospital equipment seemed to fade into an eerie silence every time I crossed its threshold. I told myself it was just nerves, but deep down, I knew something was amiss. The patients in room 305 were unlike any I had encountered. They weren't listed on any charts, and no doctor or nurse ever seemed to acknowledge their presence. Yet, every time I entered, I felt their eyes on me, a silent plea echoing in the back of my mind. At first, I thought it was my imagination, but then I started noticing the small, chilling signs. Objects would move on their own, and whispers filled the air, just quiet enough to make me doubt my sanity. I tried to ignore it, focusing on my tasks, but the pull of those unseen patients grew stronger with each passing day. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, I found myself drawn to room 305, unable to resist the strange compulsion. The door creaked open, and I stepped inside, the temperature dropping instantly. My breath fogged the air as the whispers intensified, forming coherent words that sent shivers down my spine. They were begging for help, trapped between worlds, unable to move on. I realized with a jolt that they believed I was their savior, someone who could bridge the gap between life and death. Panic surged through me, but a part of me felt an inexplicable urge to help them. The climax came when, late one night, I was jolted awake by a haunting vision of the patients in room 305. They surrounded my bed, their faces pale and eyes hollow, yet filled with a desperate hope. They beckoned me to follow, and before I knew it, I was back in the hospital, standing in front of their room. As I stepped inside, a blinding light enveloped me, and I felt myself being pulled into their world. The last thing I remember was the grateful smiles as I crossed the threshold, leaving behind the life I once knew. Now, I'm trapped in room 305, forever caught between realms, waiting for the next volunteer to take my place.